Hey, my good friends, I've been busy. I have been up toward Hiwassee, Tennessee, which Hiwassee is in, where we do our kayaking and camping is in Reliance, but Cleveland is where I go to thrift when we go up there. So this is the Goodwill, the larger Goodwill in Cleveland, and there's another smaller one across town, but this one is very big, and I found several good treasures, and I decided this time I would just go ahead and narrate with you after the fact because, I get really distracted while I'm shopping. It's hard for me to do the narration while I'm shopping. I really liked that. It looks like the size of napkins, like it was a napkin holder. That was the first thing I thought. But I already have a matching set of 2 napkin holders that I use. But that was really cute. I probably should have gotten it. But on this trip, it was a day trip. And my guys had already warned me that I could not find a bunch of stuff to have to squeeze back into the vehicle along with the kayaks and the gear and everything. They had already said, just don't do it. But of course I did it anyway. But I didn't get just everything I wanted because they had put that restriction on me. I did get that. Not sure if I'm going to leave the graphics on there as is, or I have an idea that I might do on that for the graphics. And I looked at this little dog more than one time because it was extra cute and didn't even cost much, $3.99. I really thought he was cute. He was from TJ Maxx, as you can see. He still had the $12.99 sticker on him, and he just made me smile. But he did have a nice big chip on the front of his chest. I would have needed to either repair that or ignore it, but sometimes I just ignore chips and stuff. It doesn't bother me, but that one seemed a little distracting. Anyway, I ended up leaving him behind because I don't actually have a little French bulldog or a pug or whatever that is, but someone who does have one of those dogs would probably love it, so I left it behind for another thrifter to be thrilled with and to find. And those looked like some Avon bottles, which I don't collect, but if I ever came across one that I liked, I would. That little doll looks like a souvenir Cherokee Indian reservation doll. I didn't even register to check it and see if that's what it was. It might have been very cute with some of my other stuff. See, this is the problem. When I go back and look at the footage, I'm like, girl, did you not even see that? There's things that I just don't see the first time around, which is true of everyone. This little pot caught my eye, and I did purchase this. I love blue and white. I just think blue and white is such a classic look. It was only $2.99, and it had the most odd thing, hand painted for Holland Roofing. Why would a roofing company have pottery made? I mean, if you can imagine why, please share your knowledge with me. Oh, and there's an enamelware spoon that I picked up, and I don't even see the sticker on that. I don't remember how much I paid for it. But this Goodwill had grouped their decor into color groups. I looked through the entire big section of linens because you just never know when a quilt is there. And this, I had never seen this before. I did purchase this. It's little Project Linus Tender Loving Care, and I wondered if this is the kind of thing that a group of people provides to a hospital for children to use in the hospital, just something homemade and something sweet. But I thought it was an ideal size for little girls and dolls to play with, and I did like that throw. I liked the weave of that. That was neat. But most of the stuff in the linen department was stuff that I didn't just especially have to have, and again, with the restriction on space, I couldn't just bring anything home with me, and I don't like being restricted, but it's good. It's good to have boundaries and guidelines and limits to what you would bring home. Because, I try not to be the sort of thrifter who just sees something, thinks it's cute, and says it's coming home with me, whether it's exactly my style or not. And, occasionally I'm going to get something that maybe doesn't line up exactly with my style. What is my style? Vintage for sure, but that's really broad. I like see, I like the wide range of things. I like primitive, antique-looking things, and I also love that ornate Baroque, very detailed things. So, I can appreciate a wide range of it. And when I find special things, I just bring them home and they all blend together. Okay, my GPS for the next thrift store took me to this mall. And it happened to take me to this exact side of the mall. And when I saw that with a bunch of stuff around that, I thought, okay, this must be it. So here I go with my happy self, and I'm walking up and I'm like, this is odd. What's happening here? And it dawns on me, oh, this is a party. I saw a bunch of cupcakes. I'm like, this is not the thrift store. This very cute girl, she says, oh, can I help you? And I said, oh, I'm looking for a thrift store. She said, I think it's in the actual main mall, So I said, well, sorry to disturb you. She said, no problem. She was sweet. So I go inside the mall and I walked all over this mall. I mean, it's a pretty good sized mall. And I asked a couple of people and they didn't know where a thrift store was or a consignment boutique or anything like that. Finally, I happened to see a mall security guard, and he said, oh, that thrift store moved out 2 weeks ago. So I went all over a mall for nothing. This thrift store is run by the Church of God International offices. I do believe that's what I saw somewhere in this place. But it was such an interesting layout. It had long hallways and different big rooms that I could go all through. And I did find things that I thought were wonderful. And I would have gotten several of these just because they just looked unique and I loved them, especially that one right there of the children playing. That is precious. I loved it. But this was not an ideal time to bring home framed artwork with glass in it. I would have just made them hush and let me bring it home in the crowded truck. But I was like, okay, well, those are really pretty, but it's not like I could never find something very similar again. And that's one of my questions that I ask. Could I find it again? Is this something that I would be able to find in the future? Is it so very unique that I would never find it again? Okay, now coming up on this one, look at this beauty. I should have just got it. I should have. It's $4.99. And my daughter Mallory is worship leader at our church, and they have just, for the first time in maybe 30 years, they have redecorated the worship office where, worship leader and team all go in there, and the media team uses it too. So she had, shown me the progress they were making for the first time. New carpet, painted walls. I mean, that's a long time to go, but, it's not a public place. It's kind of a closed section of the church. Anyway, I thought that would be perfect for her office, so I sent a picture of it to her, and she's like, no, it's not quite what I had in mind. And I was like, oh, surely it is. I love it. But she didn't love it, and I was again like, well, it'll be really hard to bring home anyway. But it was $4.99, and it looks exactly to me like the landscapes that I'm seeing at Hobby Lobby, the moody vintage looking landscapes. Okay, this book section, I always have to look over the books to see whether there are any old books, any vintage books. But some vintage book lover may have come just before me and picked up everything that was old and interesting. So I found very few things that I even walked up closely to see if it was old or just kind of had the look of an old book. And in this one, I did not even remember that I could be looking for third grade level reading books, paragraph books for my daughter Lauren is going to be teaching third grade this year in a new town. They have moved. They're about 30 minutes away from me now, and she'll be teaching third grade. She's never taught third grade before, so we needed some fresh supplies, fresh books for her classroom, for her reading corner. So I did find some for her later, but not on this trip. Not any of the thrift stores on this trip did I find. Okay, now this is just lightweight, inexpensive metal, but again with the blue and white. I really loved it. I thought it was sweet. $1.99. not in danger of being broken, not heavy, not taking up a lot of space, so it did get to come home with me. And you just never know, in the midst and tucked between very mundane or common things, you'll find something like this. Look, y'all. It's a baby food plate that has the layers so that you can put hot water in the metal part, and it warms the food in the top, or keeps warm the food in the top. See the little hole where you can pour through the plastic layer? And look at the decals. Aren't they old-timey and precious? And that certainly went home with me. Did you see a price on it? I forgot to say out loud the price when we came across it, but it was only a couple of dollars or $3, or, it wasn't very much. I mean, somebody likely didn't know what it was. I wouldn't know what it was, except my sister Lisa found one time when I was with her, and I was like, what in the world is it? And she explained to me how the hot water goes in the bottom of it. And if I had been in the mood to search through these dishes, I probably could have found even more. But this one table had several things I liked. There was a cheese crock. Didn't have the lid, but I didn't let that stop me. And these were all just sitting together as if they knew what my favorite things would be. And an ice bucket, I guess it's an ice bucket, that has that copper finish on it, which I thought was actually just beautiful. And it's not old, but I thought it was very pretty. I like it. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I liked it. How much was it? It was like $3.99 maybe. $2.99, $3.99. And this, I feel that there might have been more to the lid. I need to look it up. Maybe I'll have the insert popped up in here by the time you guys are watching this. It is false-graph. And I had not seen one of those before. Not sure how rare it is, but it is plastic. But I loved the tones, the colors of that. The gold color with the blue on it. So cute. I could just kick myself for not forcing my men to let me bring these home. These chairs, even though that has water damage on it, $6.99 for each of them. Look at that oak. Look at that handsome, beautiful striped oak. And the cane bottoms, oh my goodness, they were perfect. There was nothing. They were still strong. I did sit in one, and it was just the least bit shimmy wobbly. But look how gorgeous. Just look. You know what? I don't care if I have to strap it on the cab of the truck. Next time I'm bringing stuff home, if I see it and I love it. You can tell I've got a little issue there with being told I can't bring home stuff if there's not room. Okay, I did get that little tin. I thought it was very sweet. And I was curious what was in it. But you're filming with one hand, and then you're trying to explore with the other hand. So here I go, trying my best to do it with my left hand. And I do open it up. It's nothing but just, brass colored metal in there. But I love the blue and white. This was a good day for finding pretty blue and white things at several different stores I did. And I don't know why blue and white is just a classic thing. I have no living idea what this is. I don't know, but I loved that it had all this paint splatter on it. What? What, y'all? What is this thing? I bought it. I don't know. It just looked like the kind of interesting little thing that could be grouped together with my other old-timey interesting wood, primitive old-timey things. I mean, I don't know what it's for. Throw me your ideas, what you think the wood block is. Okay, so I come back through here, and from the other angle, I noticed there were some things, and I was like, woo, that's racy. It's old, but it's a little risque, isn't it? I don't normally collect romances or westerns, but there's always... Honestly, I just collect what I see that kind of fits my mental vibe of what I like. I've got a whole set of Zane Grey westerns that are hardback, and they're all like a tan color with red on the bind where the title is. And like I said, I just have to check again as I go back through. This was like a maze of little rooms. all over the place. And they had a Christmas room. And I was very tempted by this little thing because it really wasn't even much. Does that say $3.99? Have mercy. I thought it was very cute. Maybe to keep children's books in. I loved that it has the green on the edge. The decals look kind of like 1980s to me. Maybe late 70s, but 1980s. That's just sweet. But I did pass it by. I looked at it. I considered it. Yeah, $3.99. That's a deal. And they were very organized with their ornaments and stuff. Color separated. Well, you know, I love Santa mugs. So when I saw these Santa bells, there were 2 of them, and they weren't even expensive, and they had a jolly cute Santa face on them. Are they 99? Is that what it says? I've got these in a box, and I'm not going to do a haul at the end that I pick up everything and show it to you, because I decided it made more sense this time just to go ahead and talk about it while I'm shopping, you know, as I'm putting it into the cart. They had lots of Christmas things, and there again, the big old framed landscape there. I really loved it. Mallory, I can't believe you didn't love it. Now it's too late. Okay, and so here's a shot of the things I've gathered up so far, which that baby plate is so sweet. And there's the false-graph picture with the stopper in it. I feel like there might have been another part to that stopper lid thing. Okay, never believe what Google says. It's done. Google has told me before that the Habitat for Humanity restore would not be open, and I drove over there anyway, and sure enough, open, big as a booger tail, just open. But Google said it wasn't, so I'm glad that I went anyway, because I found some bucket list things inside that Habitat for Humanity restore, and there's the Goodwill straight across. So, all right, started off in the Habitat for Humanity, and do you see what I see? Look at it! Oh my gosh! Oh, I've always wanted a big one, and it was $10. I was shocked. I just knew it was going to say 30, 40, and with it, this was unique, and it did have a little crack. Vinegar, look! White House vinegar, and it was $10. And I was so excited that I had found the coffee pot that I just went ahead and put that in my buggy too, because I was like, yeah, I'm on a roll. This is great. I'm doing this. So I had both of those in there, and then I was checking some other things, which those looked like, again, maybe some Avon items. This was a rack that I'm not sure if it was like just being put out or if it was just part of the shopping experience and what was available to everyone. But I always pick up things that catch my eye, and I check to see if it has a maker's mark that looks very old. You know, there's a few names that I do recognize as vintage and old names. And you know, when I get into a thrift store, oh, that was the beeswax, but it was really lumpy and warped. I'd let it pass me by. I didn't take it home because it seemed like the kind of thing that those lumps and bumps and dents might have bothered me. Normally they don't, but you know, I was still in the frame of mind of, you can't bring home everything, girl. You're going to have to just bring home the most special things that you find. I loved that. It was so heavy, it would have made a great doorstop. Why didn't I get that? I don't know, maybe the price was too high. I think it's the foot off of a bathtub, like a clawfoot tub. My thumb was right over that price tag, so now I don't know how much it cost, but I was impressed with it. I did like it. I think it was too high. It was too expensive for me. I think that was the problem. That was a pretty little pot for $4. Could have brought it home. Said USA. Was probably a little bit old. Again, why didn't I bring it home? It actually still had the lid, didn't it? Up, Marla, up. Let's see. Yeah, had the lid with it. And I just walked on by. I just walked on by. I don't know, I'm a crazy person. Sometimes in the linens bins like that, you can find a tattered old quilt. So I kind of rummaged through there just to see if there were any old tablecloths or a very old sheet. But no, not today. And, no need to pay retail for any purse for the rest of your life, girls. You can find a $5, $4, $3 purse everywhere. And this did have a lot of furniture in here. So if I lived locally, I would totally be checking this place for any piece of furniture that I might need. I really thought that was pretty. Very granny, and I like it. Just my style. Oh, I'm so proud of that enamel teapot or coffee pot. Love it, love it. I did find some vintage books in their book room. Very nice. Loved it. When I have time and I don't feel like I'm in a rush, I open it up just to see. I can pretty much tell by looking. Sometimes I'm fooled. But, does that say 1945? Something like that? Yeah, I could tell it was pretty old because it was pretty shabby, and the fading on the spine as compared to the sides. And this day, I did not think to look for children's books, but then the next time I came, yeah, it was just me and Pawpaw in there looking at the old books. He was very sweet. But I'm sneaking up behind him because I saw some more stuff that looked old to me, and I had to check it out. That's very pretty. The linen cover is always my favorite type of book to find. So there are 2 green books. If they happen to be Bible study books or commentaries, that's just a bonus. I like that too. And again, with the very old date. Love it. I read some of the books I find. I find too many to read every one. Oh my goodness, what a deal. Do you see that says, does that say 12 or 17? Either one would have been an excellent price for this vanity dresser mirror. Just gorgeous. I really loved it. I recently found a big mixing bowl that I do use, and it's a little bigger than that one. But you're like probably not used to seeing anybody have a need for a mixing bowl that huge. But when you have our family, me, my husband, my children, their spouses, and their children, we now are 14. There's 14 of us. So then when you add in grandparents, adult siblings and their children, their family. So when I cook for a holiday or a big thing, I do need really, really big pans. And sometimes through the years, I have bought just a plastic Rubbermaid dish pan and a brand new, clean, not used for any ugly, terrible purpose. I have used that to mix up huge batches of different kinds of food before. But that was pretty. Didn't take it home, but isn't that nice? 7-inch. I could have taken it home, but I was trying to be selective. But then this one really caught my eye because I've never seen anything quite like it, and I don't know what it is. Don't know what it is whatsoever, but I bought it. I really did. I don't think I'm going to have time to look up too many of these items and insert them before I go ahead and post this, because I've got another big couple of weeks stacked up coming up soon. Really the rest of July. Pretty packed. But I am going to try to do a few videos. They might be shorter. Not sure. What does that even say? I don't know. Y'all. If you know what it is, just let me know. Now, I don't know why I even took the time, but see, that's a blue willow pattern. And I kept thinking, okay, there's probably more in this stack, but they were really hard. They were stuck together in this big stack of all kinds of stove covers. I electric eye covers. I don't even have that kind. Oh, and I dropped one, made a lot of noise. I don't even have that kind of stove. I ended up not getting them. But look how cute this is. It was $30 for the set, and I just felt like that was a little steep for someone who doesn't actually need them, so I let it go. All right, up till this point in the video, that was all just a day trip. Like I said, we didn't camp. The next, in 2 weeks, we did camp, but on that trip, when I could have brought back big stuff, I didn't find very much at all. Me, Ben, and Joel, that's the three of us. You can see the big camper behind us, and we're in the diesel truck that belongs to my son-in-law that pulls that camper, because that camper, it started off, Livy and Ryan bought it, and we decided that we would be joint owners, and that is the only picture I took as we were breaking down camp. Only picture I took of us at the campground, which was a really pretty spot. These are some of the few things that I found on this most recent trip, and I loved every one of these. And I did read the Both Riches and Honor book while I was at the campground, and I remembered to check for really good paragraph or chapter books for the 3rd grade for my daughter, who's starting to teach 3rd grade, and these were all either 25 or 50 cents each, and my total this day was so low that I don't even know if they charged me that much for them. But that was a good collection of it. I also picked up a puzzle because Ben said he wouldn't mind putting a puzzle together in the camper. See, this is in the camper. So I found a puzzle that was only 100 pieces, and we put it together just in one short little session together just for the fun of it. And I will be giving that to Lauren as well for her 3rd graders. Cute. Okay, now, can y'all believe that I'm going to tell you what I did? Are you getting a clue? Can you see? I went kayaking. I never, in 6 years of them doing whitewater kayaking, I ever done it. But I did this time. This is the little store where you can rent kayaks, tubes, rafts, all kinds of things from them. When you rent your equipment, they will give you a ride in the back of a truck, like cattle, to the put-in. Now, we had already made the trip down this little windy road and taken Ben's kayak and Joel's kayak and the gear, and Joel stayed with it. These boats in the background are Ben and Joel's boats, and that's my boat that we're sitting on, which is an inflated boat, an inflatable. And, you know, I wasn't as terrified as I thought, but it sure did wear me out. This was at the lunch break, and I just had to lie down and rest. My arms felt like noodles after this kayaking day, but I will go again because it was really fun. And that was on Sunday, and then we got up Monday morning and put up camp and hooked up and left. And we just had to take a picture of this very rude rig that took up, there's only 3 spaces, and he took up all 3. His front end overlapped the one space, and his back end overlapped the back space. When there are only 3 spots for RVs or buses, you shouldn't take up all 3, please. Okay, so you know I love Cracker Barrel. I love to just sit and look at every little thing that they have displayed, and I did spot on the mantle of the Cracker Barrel in Ottawa. That's where we always stop, is in Ottawa. It's just north of Chattanooga. Look at this. And the one that I could find that was comparative was pretty pricey. And this was the other side of the mantle. And something I have never found yet, but am looking for and would love to have, that fan, that old-timey fan. If I could find a fan like that just for fun, just to put in my she shed, which, hey, we are still working on the she shed, but it's very, very, very slow. Exhaustion, burnout, and the great desire to do family camping and kayaking in the summer has caused us to slow down, but we're going to be picking back up, and I'll have another shed video for you before too long. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for all your kind comments and your sweet support and your prayers, and I pray that the Lord blesses every one of you in a very special way today.